The rain poured relentlessly that night, drumming against the rusted tin roof of the old clinic at the edge of town. Inside, the waiting room smelled faintly of disinfectant and damp air. A young woman stumbled through the doors, clutching a small bundle to her chest. Her face was pale, her clothes soaked through, and her trembling hands revealed the urgency of her mission. "Please," she cried, her voice breaking. "Please, someone help my baby." The nurses at the reception desk looked up in surprise. They saw a girl who couldn't have been more than 19, barefoot and shivering, her hair clinging to her face. The blanket in her arms moved slightly, and a weak cry came from within. The sound was so faint it was almost a whisper. One nurse rushed over, helping the girl to a chair. "What's wrong with the baby?" she asked urgently. The young woman tried to speak, but her lips quivered. He can't breathe properly. I think something's wrong with his heart. Please save him. I don't have any money, but I'll do anything. Just don't let him die." Her words silenced the room. Even the tired old doctor sitting behind the glass door paused, his pen freezing mid-stroke. He'd seen desperation before, but something in the girl's eyes, a mixture of terror and fierce love, made him stand up. "Bring them in," he said firmly. Her name was Lena. She lived in a small shack by the river, a place where the wind howled through the cracks in the walls and food was often just rice and water. Life hadn't been kind to her. Her mother had passed away when she was 12, and her father, a factory worker, had vanished one morning and never returned. She'd grown up learning that survival meant being strong, even when the world didn't care if she broke. At 16, Lena met David. He was kind, gentle, and unlike anyone she'd known. He promised her a better life, one where she wouldn't have to worry about empty stomachs or cold nights. But when she got pregnant, everything changed. David lost his job, and soon after, he left town, leaving nothing behind but a few old shirts and the echo of broken promises. Still, Lena didn't hate him. She told herself he'd come back. But as her belly grew, so did the whispers. People in town sneered, called her foolish, said her baby would only bring her more pain. She ignored them all. She'd already decided, this child would be her reason to live. But now, holding her weak and struggling baby in the doctor's office, she feared she might lose the only thing she had left. The doctor, Reyes, examined the child carefully. The baby's tiny chest rose and fell unevenly, each breath a battle. His lips were bluish, his heartbeat faint. "He has a congenital heart defect," the doctor said gravely. "He needs surgery, urgently." Lena's heart sank. "Surgery," she whispered. "How much will it cost?" The doctor hesitated, not wanting to say it. "It's expensive, too expensive for someone without insurance." Her tears came fast then, unstoppable. "Please, there must be something you can do. I'll clean the hospital floors, I'll sleep outside, I'll do anything. Just don't let him die." The doctor looked away. He'd been working at this small clinic for years, constantly forced to choose between compassion and reality. There were no charity funds, no free surgeries. But the way Lena clutched her baby, her knuckles white, her eyes filled with raw determination, something inside him stirred. "I'll make some calls," he said quietly. "Maybe I can get him transferred to the city hospital." Hours turned into days. Lena never left her baby's side. She sang to him softly, even when his eyes stayed closed, even when machines beeped beside him. Nurses whispered about her in the hallways, how she refused to eat until someone forced her to, how she prayed every hour, how she smiled through tears whenever her baby moved even a little. One night, as she sat beside the crib, her baby's oxygen levels dropped suddenly. Alarms blared, and doctors rushed in. Lena stood frozen, her body trembling, watching as they worked desperately to save him. She pressed her hands together, whispering, "Please, God, don't take him. Take me instead, just not him." Minutes later, the monitors stabilized. The baby lived, but just barely. When the doctor came to her later, his eyes were heavy. "Lena," he said softly, "I spoke to the hospital in the city. They agreed to take him, but the surgery is complicated. It's risky. You need to prepare yourself." Lena nodded. "I'll go anywhere. I'll sign anything. Just save him." The next morning, an ambulance carried them to the city. Lena sat in the back, her hand resting on her baby's tiny fingers. She whispered to him stories of the future, how he'd learn to walk, how he'd laugh, how they'd watch the stars together from their little house. When they arrived, the hospital's bright lights and polished floors made her feel small and out of place. People stared at her worn clothes, at her tired face, but she didn't care. All she saw was her baby being wheeled into surgery. Hours passed. The clock on the wall seemed cruel, each tick echoing in her chest like a countdown. She prayed, cried, and waited. Finally, the doctor came out. His face was unreadable. "Is he?" she started, her voice trembling. The doctor smiled gently. "He made it. He's a fighter, just like his mother." Lena collapsed into tears, clutching her hands to her chest. For the first time in months, she felt the weight lift. Her baby was alive, but the miracle didn't end there. When the nurses brought the baby out days later, cleaned and sleeping peacefully, everyone in the room gasped. His face, so perfect, so angelic, had a birthmark in the shape of a heart over his left cheek. It was small, delicate, and unmistakable. "It looks like a heart," one nurse whispered. "Right where his mother prayed for him." Word spread quickly through the hospital. The story of the poor girl who begged doctors to save her baby touched everyone. Donations poured in, enough to pay for the surgery and even a small fund for Lena's future. Strangers came to visit, leaving flowers and notes. Lena couldn't believe it. Just a week ago, she'd been invisible, another forgotten face in a broken world. Now people saw her. They saw her strength, her love, and her unwavering hope. Months later, Lena sat outside the clinic where it all began, her baby, Gabriel, in her arms. He was stronger now, chubby cheeks glowing in the sunlight. The little heart-shaped mark on his face had become his mother's favorite thing to look at. Dr. Reyes came to sit beside her. "He's a miracle," he said. Lena smiled. "He is, but so are all the people who helped him." The doctor nodded. "You know, when you came in that night, I almost told you there was nothing I could do. But something about you, I just couldn't give up. You reminded me why I became a doctor." Lena looked at him with tears in her eyes. "And you reminded me that good people still exist." As time passed, Lena's story spread online. A local journalist had shared her photo, her holding Gabriel, his tiny heart-shaped mark visible, and it went viral. People were inspired by her courage, her refusal to give up even when the world told her she couldn't win. Charities reached out, offering her support. She got a small apartment, started taking classes to become a nurse. "If I can help even one mother the way they helped me," she said, "then everything I went through was worth it." Gabriel grew stronger with each passing day. His laughter filled their home, his eyes sparkling with life. And every time Lena looked at that tiny heart on his face, she remembered that love had saved him, not money, not luck, but love that refused to surrender. Years later, on Gabriel's 10th birthday, Lena took him to visit Dr. Reyes. The old man's hair had turned silver, but his smile was the same. Gabriel handed him a small card that said, "Thank you for saving my heart." The doctor chuckled. "It was your mother who saved you, son. We just helped a little." Lena's eyes filled with tears again, just as they had that rainy night years ago. "I'll never forget what you did," she said. Dr. Reyes shook his head. "You don't have to. Just keep living, both of you. That's thanks enough." That evening, as the sun set over the river, Lena and Gabriel stood outside their small home. The sky was painted in gold and pink, the air calm and quiet. Gabriel looked up at his mother and asked, "Mama, why do I have this heart on my face?" Lena smiled softly, brushing her fingers over the mark. "Because when you were born, your heart needed help. And I prayed so hard for it to be strong that God decided to remind us both, right here, of how powerful love can be." He grinned. "Does that mean I'm special?" She hugged him close. "More than you'll ever know." Moral of the story: sometimes, miracles don't come wrapped in wealth or privilege, they come through love that refuses to give up. Lena's story reminds us that no matter how dark the night gets, hope can shine through the smallest light. And sometimes, that light takes the shape of a tiny heart on a child's face.